And that's something I've been seeing. And I keep saying in some of the videos, I've been saying wages need to keep up with inflation, and wages were not keeping up. And private sector is having a tough time because to pay the public sector or public servants, you need to tax more of the private sector. Now, this is very interesting. In 2021, 2022, you could reference it, don't quote me on it, but of 2021-22, Canada created a couple of 100,000. I think you guys referenced this on your channel too. A couple of 100,000 jobs, but they were all public sector jobs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say before, is like, not only do you have this public sector on strike looking for like 20% plus more in their salaries, but you have like 20% more of them looking for 20% more, right? It's a
why do major hiring boom.
And why? Like, we hired all kinds of people so they could go work from home and pretend to work, and now we're going to pay them even more money to not even do a commute, to not even need a vehicle, right? Yep. To not come into the office and not to do anything. Like, TK, I don't know about you, Mike, definitely not you, but like, you go into Scarborough City Hall right now, it's a ghost town. Nobody works there.
Nobody's there.
Nobody is in there. There's like a security guard,
a phone number,
and people walking around, and nobody knows what to do. And not that, like, the grass is overgrown, the concrete's all cracked. It looks like apocalyptic, right? But and meanwhile, like, they're on strike because they need better conditions, I guess, to work in than their living room. Like, what do we have to do?
They don't want to be forced back to work.
We got to buy them.
The main point is that they don't want to come back into the office. They want to stay from home. Just quickly before we go too far into other stuff, Mike, what is the reason that food prices are going up? Tell me.
Well, because I could bring it up here on it's in one of my titles. Actually, bring it up, and it was
no, we don't share screens anymore. It's too much editing for that.
It's not because of the price of oil.
Well, we know it's not because of the price of oil, because they bamboozled us 10 years ago on that.
So you think that these are just the companies who are just marking up the prices?
I really don't think so, guys. I really don't think it's the companies. No, because I've been
layers of companies, like layer of company on top of company.
Well, you got to remember that these people working at these food stores are not getting minimum wage. They're getting $5 to $10 above minimum wage, right? And when you're paying a private sector worker $20 to $30 an hour to work, you got to remember you have to make your company deductions through them for their CPP, IUI, and unemployment. So when you hire somebody for $20 an hour, you're realistically paying them $29 or $34 an hour, depending.
But where is this? So you're talking at the grocery store level?
Grocery store level.
But is this where the prices are jumping? Or I don't even know the research on this. But what
I would
about,
say,
like,
logistics?
The manufacturers and the logistics, like, where are the prices jumping?
I would say in freight brokers. And I got word from Junkyard Dog, who comes on Mike in the Night, and he told me that freight brokers are ripping off the truck drivers and pocketing a lot more money than they should be for freight deliveries. We're talking huge. They used to pay, I think, $2 or $3 a mile. Now that they don't even want to pay that anymore. And there's all these freight brokers that are pocketing the surplus. And when we talk about surplus, we're talking about they're pocketing an extra $8,000 to $11,000 per load.
Wait till they have the autonomous Tesla trucks.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So now we're getting deep here. Yeah.
Right.
So when they get the self-driving stuff, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting corner to hit, or see how things, we're hitting corner. Okay. Well, let's just use the metaphor
to hit. Yeah.
We're hitting a corner everywhere we go. We don't know what's coming up the other street. We're just walking, living our lives, and then boom, the price of food goes up. But price of food needs to go up, because I made a video that I got a lot of shellac off. And that video is called, "What if the price of gas, food, and basic amenities came to a level of where housing is?" So, because housing is so severely overinflated, that what if food, gasoline, and everything actually went into level with the price of housing?
They're equally as important.
Right. But let's say, like, they came down, I call it down to earth.
Society would collapse.
Yes. And that's what we're seeing right now. And that's why we're seeing this public service strike, is because I don't think these people, okay, they want more money, but I think they're realizing living the 1986 Canadian dream is becoming prohibitively expensive.
Or a nightmare.
Yeah. And we have to make this clear for people watching in the United States.
A folktale.
Yeah. And we got to make this very clear, because I was going to go, because I'm kind of sad and you guys don't share the screens anymore, because I was going to go into Darryl's favorite part of the show of what you could buy in America for 40 grand. And the pricing of the housing here that I have up for you guys, a lot of the houses we saw on your show, you were saying you can't even build it for that much. I'm looking at
40 grand is the lumber in Toronto for
it's
a
just
house.
to connect to the sewer if the sewer is already there.
Yeah. So now I'm looking at homes right now in front of me that Civil War type homes with pillars on front of them, look like the White House, 229, 5 bedrooms, 4,000 square feet, quarter-acre of land, freehold property. It's just nonstop. Like what I have in front of me here is just the complete manor. There's a manor, 155, 5 bedrooms, 4 bath, $2,429. 2,429 square feet.
So right now, Mike, we've had we'll get to that. I want to just kind of keep us onto this because I want to make sure that people understand a lot of the things that you've been talking about in the past are all starting now to ring true. Inflation as a whole. I mean, I didn't even think about the word inflation. I knew what it was, and I knew that the 2% rate was something that you should always sort of attribute to like an annual increase. But like, if you've been talking about it for years,
yes,
you thought that inflation would get out of control.
I knew inflation was going to get out of control. And in 2016, there's a video. Again, you go through the channel and you'll see it. It says rates need to be 9% by 2022.
Rates need to be 9%
by 2022.
When did you put that
inflation,
up? In 2017, you'll see it on the channel.
Because of inflation getting out of control, right?
And then I went through the graphs, and I'm not just talking, hey, my name is no. Here's the graph. This is where we are.
Why doesn't he get 100,000 views per fucking episode, TK? I don't understand. I'm not even joking.
Shadow banning.
Like, I'm really not even joking.
No, the video's up, and then and that one I went in. I think I even have the thimble that I made for it. I was going through it, and I was looking at that, and then I didn't know about that video for a while. I made the video, but I forgot about it. And then one of my viewers searched across my channel and typed in rates, and he found that video, and he's like, Mike, did you see this video? He said, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, because we need to hedge against inflation, because if we don't raise rates, price of food will be out of reach. And we were already predicting in 2017, 2018, 2019.
But they started raising, right? Didn't they start raising rates in 2017? Isn't that why the market kind of slowed down?
Yes, then they pivoted. They pivoted
rates, yeah.
And they lowered rates, and then they pulled the trigger on the pandemic.
And then the pandemic hit, and they dropped their pants.
Why did they pull the trigger on the pandemic, Mike?
There was no confidence. There was no confidence in governments. The whole world was protesting. You could watch those old Mike in the Nights where we had callers in from Chile, Iran, Hong Kong protests were going for 40 weeks. The Gilets de Jaunes in France was going for 80 weeks. The whole world was protesting no confidence in government.
What does the pandemic do? I don't get it. I'm just trying to explain to me like I'm a child here. Well, why is the pandemic going to control those things?
Well, everybody was no confidence in governments.
Okay.
And governments wanted to keep their power. Look, everybody was protesting already 70, 80 weeks in France for Macron. We don't want Macron. We want him out. Guess who just got reelected 6 months ago for France?
Yeah. Mr. Macron with his watch.
Yes. And the pandemic worked by shutting it down, creating the fear, and creating the control mechanism. That
diversion. Big fucking diversion.
Yes. So it's a distraction for them to be able to say, oh my gosh, and the
government's
not working for me. But now, in order to keep me and my family safe, we're going to, be under their control and guidance. Thank God for the government.
Yes.